episode 50.
Hiya there.
How you doing, Mim?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What's been going on in my life? I don't know. I have a couple pairs of sunglasses that I need to get fixed, like the little screws. You know those pesky little screws that fall out of sunglasses, so I can't wear them.
I've got a pair that needs to be fixed from lockdown, but I also kind of like don't understand if you can just walk into like an optician's these days and do that. So
I think you can. I think you just have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I went into Timpson because you know Timpson, jack of all trades.
Everything.
Exactly. I went in there, but they don't do that sort of thing. So
if you're just missing
the hunt
screws,
continues.
you can find them online.
I thought about that,
but it's tricky to know, obviously, if like one screw is the same for all sunglasses. But yeah, I snapped off my like the hinge, so I need a whole replacement. And they're like cheap sunglasses, but I tell you, they're one of my favorites. And if they were online, I would get a new pair. But
reuse what you already have, save the planet.
Exactly.
Just fix what you already own.
Exactly.
What about you? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I got to see my nephew at the weekend.
Cute.
Week, and he's great, and he's turning 1 so soon.
Oh my god!
I know.
How is he 1?
I know. That's how quickly this year has gone. But yeah, so that was great. And yeah, just kind of been chilling a bit. This week I've been trying to get myself ready every day. So I'm still working from home in terms of the context of COVID. So I'm trying to get myself ready every morning and like put some makeup on and see if that sort of like helps get a bit more like motivation in my bones. It's not really helping. And today I had a smear test, so that was fun. But you know what? Talking fashion, my best advice is to wear a dress similar to what I'm wearing, which is basically like
just
a midi loose floaty dress, because you can whip your knickers off, you can it, and like the least degrading it could be, and not that it's a degrading experience, but you know what I mean? Like, none of us like getting our foofs out in public. I don't know if we can say foofs on a podcast.
I think so.
But we don't like, you know, being investigated.
I know what you mean, because if you have trousers, you got to take them off completely.
Yeah.
And then you're like starkers from the waist down.
Yeah. And then like she gave me a little like paper tissue, but like at least then I could just quickly like whip my dress down, because like she doesn't want to be looking at it.
No.
You know, either. Like no one needs to. So yeah, I would recommend that in terms of a little fashion tip for you ladies.
Thanks for that fashion advice there. We didn't know we needed it, but you gave it to us anyway.
It's funny because I'm not a sharer, but every now and then I really am. So
yeah, it's true. That is true.
But yeah, I haven't been up to much. Just just trying to prepare myself for winter, I guess. It's been a real shift, hasn't it? We had a week where, like, the start of the week I was like sunbathing, like last week, and then winter hit, and it's just adjusting to that wardrobe, refinding things you didn't remember. I'm cooking, baking a caramel autumnal cake to just ease us in this house. So
you know what, you reminded me, we bought bananas like 2 days ago to make banana bread. Yeah, if that was not a sign of the COVID times, banana bread is making a comeback.
I think I'm going to get my sourdough starter back in my life. It's lockdown 2.0. We're ready for you this time.
Your sourdough starter, I think, is one of the first things we actually started talking about on this podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, so I haven't been up too much. But guys, you are listening to Style Over Substance. And we're going to cue our really special message for you. We interrupt this broadcast to remind you, go follow us on Instagram, Style Over Substance Pod. Shoot us an email, styleoversubstancepeak@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Twitter. We've got all the links on our Instagram. You know what to do. Wow, what a great message. What a really special announcement.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of the jesting. This week we have a really special episode. We have Annie Amuso. I think that's how we say it. She corrects us if not. Later on. But so we have our first guest, and it's a really special episode. Annie is a powerhouse. She has a website called epiphanya.co.uk. It is a beauty comparison site specifically for Black beauty products, and it's super cool. And she was giving us a wealth of knowledge in her interview, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yay!
So sorry about that, guys. Literally everything was already set up, and then I don't know what happened, and I was just like, come back to me.
No, that's happened to me a few times. Okay. So we just thought we'd record from the beginning, so we just did capture as much as we could, because I think we've only got like 40 minutes as the three of us, so just to let you know there's recording now.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me again. So,
it's nice to have you, Annie.
I want to be like kind of cocky and be like, thanks for having me. Like, I'm happy to be here, but
no, we're happy to have you on. You're our first guest, and like you're setting the bar pretty high.
Am I?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh gosh. Well, you know what? I'm kind of like your test dummy, so it only go up from here, basically.
No. Annie has experience being an influencer and all of that, so she's probably more professional and experienced than us.
For sure.
I like to think that I'm just really lucky, and I'm like a weird person who always just goes, yeah, sure, let me try it out, and afterwards I'm like, oh, I've done it. It goes in my memoir.
You're quite a yes person then.
You know what? I think I wouldn't say I was a yes person, but I'm one of those people who like to help people out. Like I'm always happy to do favors to people.
Yeah.
As long as you tell me the reason why I need to do it, I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do it.
Oh, that's cool.
A great characteristic to have.
Yeah, but if you don't give me a reason, I'll probably just say no. I'm very famous for just saying no. If you just say, Annie, can you know?
You know what? That is the best way to be. Like, the worst is when people say yes, they'll do something for you and they don't turn up, or they're flaky or something like that. I would just rather someone be like, I can't commit to that. And just not.
I don't want to.
I don't want to. Fuck off.
No, I'm always a bit like, if you give me a reason, I will probably say yes. But it's one of those things is, can you do this? I'm like, no. Right. And you were like, if you give me a reason, I'll probably have done it. But the fact you say, can you just do it? I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, we should probably introduce you.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So I told you we're professionals. So Annie Amusu, am I saying your surname right?
Yeah, more or less.
That's a no.
That's a no. That pitch went up. Give us
it's basically
one.
It's just Amusu. So Amusu is like, the best way of saying it is like, I amuse you. So Amusu.
Amusu.
Yeah, basically when you say it, it's like everyone's like, oh, I get it now. Yeah, just Amusu.
Okay, so that's your name, and you are a founder of epiphanya.co.uk. Kind of rhymes. It's cute.
I know. I've been singing it to myself.
Yeah, it's such a good thing that it's got a swing to it. And this is, like, as far as we know, the first UK price comparison site focused on like Black beauty and hair care products. So we thought, like, really, really cool idea. Brilliant to have you on the podcast. And also, we just clocked now, it being the first day of Black History Month, how the stars aligned.
Yeah, they really did.
You guys have great timing. Even when it's subconscious, you just have really great timing.
Yeah. So yeah, just tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. Okay. So obviously, my name's Annie Amusu, and I've been an influencer for about. Well, I was one of the original influencers. We were called bloggers back in the day. Back in the day, we were called bloggers, and I was a blogger. And then basically, I then obviously got my first job, like real job, like the one that actually pays the bills, and and that was kind of in affiliates. And so as basically those two worlds really, really intertwine, it meant that my specialization tends to be with, use influencers, social media, and how basically to make money for companies if you are trying to, leverage social media in a way. So that's kind of how things kind of kicked off, and that's kind of my background. I've been in affiliates for about 7 years now, which is longer than I thought it would be, but I've been in it for 7 years. But I was blogging from about 2011, 2012. And I actually have deleted all pictures of my blog at that point because they were horrible as hell. You will never see them.
Phone quality, like camera quality was not as kind.
I was taking pictures in the dark, like with lamps. So if you could just imagine what it was like, it was absolutely horrendous. But it was just a learning curve, because what I always tell people is that back then it was so different because you had to have a DSLR camera, you had to know how to use Lightroom, you had to know how to like edit products and do Photoshop and all these kind of things. And now you just have like Canva or like a phone app to just do everything.
Look,
so
do not talk down Canva, okay?
I love Canva, but I was basically like, I was like telling someone, I was like, Canva has saved me so much time, and I'm so angry Canva wasn't around 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like there was more skill involved. There wasn't an Instagram filter you could just apply to make it suddenly nice and all of that stuff.
Yeah, but it's been actually helped my job a lot, knowing doing all that kind of things, because you always know when because obviously a lot of my job is talking to websites and influencers, so you always know when they are chatting a lot of breeze.
Yeah.
Trying to, what you're trying to say politically. So you always kind of know, if you know how, like, from how things work from the ground up, when someone's trying to talk to you about something, and basically be like, I can smell what you're selling right now, and it does, and I just don't like it. And that's kind of what's made me so good at my job, and why I still keep going forward.
Well, both sides of the coin.
I know, but I know almost every single side of the coin. So I'm always a bit like, when people are like, when people like pitch to me, I'm always a bit like, oh my God, you really don't want to do this to me. I'm literally I'm kind of known as a bit of a hard nut. It's like, and they're like, oh yeah, Annie's fine as long as everything's fine.
Yeah.
I was like,
but you have to appreciate the hustle. That, I mean, from an influencer's point of view, but it's true. It's like they're trying to push for a rate or push for a particular job. And a lot of the time they're probably just winging it. I know a lot of these of like management and things like that, but there's a lot of guys out there who don't, and so you're just trying to like get the best deal you can, not be swindled.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, I'm always telling all my friends I have loads of friends who are influencers, as you do, you pick them up, and they spend a lot of time just saying, oh, I've got they want to pay me this, what do you think, or how much should I charge people? And always a bit like, you guys are charging too low.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are charging too low. This is how much you should charge. And it's kind of got to the point that I even send them screenshots of what they should be charging and what other people expect to be paid for this kind of work.
Yeah.
And it's always maybe about £3,000 to £4,000 more than what they're charging.
Whoa.
We are in the wrong arena.
You never know we could go viral and become influencers. It's fine.
Watch this space.
Happen. It's because I always tell people, influencing is not just a case of wearing pretty clothes or whatever. The website is basically a brand or website is basically using you to get to your audience. You are literally like a TV screen. Your TV screen, your radio to your audience, and not just giving you stuff because it's pretty and it will look nice in your feed. They're sending you money or paying you for this content because they feel that you can basically represent their brand to your audience in a very good way and obviously make sales. We hope. We hope. And that's actually where affiliates come in, because we are a lot more harsh on the sales side, while someone like PR or brand, they're more about creating an awareness. So they're more like TV.
Yeah.
And we're more like those people who go to, like, if you go to Morrison's, who are outside trying to sell you broadband, or more
Oh.
like that.
Oh, okay. So we've like briefly discussed how you've worked in the affiliate sphere for fashion, and you gave me the nod that you absolutely hated it. So we want to know why you hated it, and like educate us a bit on like what is the difference between like PR for fashion people that we all follow, that we all love to follow, and like the affiliate side of it.
Okay, so the reason why I always say I dislike fashion, I'm just gonna.
By the way,
okay, you can.
I dislike fashion.
Don't have to drag anyone's name. Just
no, I'm not dragging people's name. I think it's because it's a lot more cutthroat than people realize it is. People go into fashion thinking that it's going to be so cool. It's going to be, classy. It's going to be cool. Everyone's going to be dressed so nice. Everyone's going to be a little bit like, it's going to be a little bit like Devil's Wear Prada, but not really like that. And I'm like, no, it is full on Devil's Wear Prada. Like it's that cutthroat. Don't think it's like when we were telling you this is what the industry is like. Don't think they're sugarcoating it. It is really like that. I've had people I've seen people have full on strops. Like these people are being paid like 100K, annual salaries, having a full on tantrum in an office because something's gone wrong. I've seen like banging, I've seen swearing, I've seen very, very people crying all the time, every day just crying. And I'm just like, that is literally the fashion industry.
This was Scarlett's life for...
I've had that for a year. I left. I made sure it was 1 year on a dot and I jumped. The next day, jumped. And I tell people, it's like, please, it's very, very cutthroat, and I don't think beauty is as cutthroat as it is. So that's why I'm always telling people, like, if you're going into fashion, be very, very aware of what it's like. And thankfully for me as affiliates, it's still very cutthroat because obviously you always have to think about the margins. So because affiliates, we're always talking about sales, deals, getting people to shop. Our whole thing is how can we make you buy into whatever we're doing. We have to spend a lot of time looking at the margins. And because you're always looking at the margins, that means you're always talking to people in finance, you're always talking to like the brand merchandisers, you're always talking about to certain people. And it also means that you can step on a lot of people's toes because maybe the brand is telling you we don't want a discount because it weakens the brand itself, makes it look like you're always discounting, makes you look a bit cheap. While the finance person is telling you, we're going broke, we have not made enough money, you guys need to do something. And it's kind of like, how do you kind of balance that? Because each in their own right, each of them has a very strong argument, but then you're caught in the middle.
Yeah.
And if something goes viral, I have literally hid from the head of merchandising and buying one time because something went viral. And bear in mind, he used to sit right behind me.
Is that because it's a curse for something to go viral?
It's because it was already I think because we had discounted it, so it was a very good discount. So they were thinking, oh, maybe 100 would get sold, and they could swallow that. Now imagine 1,000 get sold.
Oh, they didn't really make enough money off it.
Yeah, and obviously that's stock that they had to get rid of, and then obviously they know who, and in most companies it's only one affiliate person, so they know who to go to. Because I'm not quiet. Like if I step in a room, I'm loud. I'm always dropping things. I'm always damaging keyboards because I keep spilling tea on it. So I used to sit right in front of him, so he knew exactly where I was. So I just hid from him for an entire day until he calmed down. But but that's just one of the funny stories. But fashion is very, very cutthroat. Well, beauty tends to have a lot bigger margins than fashion does, and so they have they have to fight less for the sales. So for instance, a typical beauty product, I say if it's £20, £16, I'll say if anything is £16 to £20 mark. For the packaging, the product itself and everything, maybe the product is about £1.50 to £2, maybe £3.50 if we are being really, really good.
So do you think that is the big difference between why the culture's so different in fashion and beauty?
Yes, I think that's this difference because there's more money in it, especially if they are the one making the product itself.
Yeah, so like Tom Ford notoriously makes his money from his perfume and beauty and nothing from the fashion.
Basically, like a typical perfume will probably cost them maybe £10. Like a Tom Ford perfume will probably cost them about £10 to make. With the bottle, packaging, everything, it would probably cost 10 to 20.
Wow.
Maximum, if I even say maximum £20. Let's say just go maximum 20
And what,
pounds.
like a full size, like Black Orchid is probably near the £100 mark?
Is about 110-ish. So you have to then see what the margins are like, and which is why there is a lot more going for them in beauty. And because you know that you're sitting on a nice chunk of change, you're less likely to basically have a very negative culture, because why? There's less need that sale.
I think for people who maybe are in the industry, whether it's affiliates or design or anything like that within beauty, within like fashion, like even the biggest names, Chanel, Dior, that is where their money comes from. That's why they're in every department store. The Debenhams, I mean, Chanel's not selling anything in Debenhams, but they sell a lot of lipstick and a lot of like perfume, and it doesn't damage their brand at all. It's like, it is the entryway that you know Joe Blogs could buy into the brand.
Basically, and also beauty benefits from the lipstick effect, and lipstick effect just basically means that no matter what's happening in the world, these products still get bought. So but right now we might not call it the lipstick effect because of the mask now, but we can call it the mascara effect. Those kind of things.
I saw an article recently. Okay, what you're saying is like the lipstick effect, and now it was like, I think in 2008 when we had the recession, or it's now about like nail polish or something, because it's like people were at home and they were forced, they either couldn't afford in 2008 to go and get their mani-pedis, or like here now we physically couldn't leave our house to go to the beautician, so we were forced to buy nail polish, which are relatively cheap, and do those sorts of treatments ourselves. And so like, as you say, like lipstick is seen as like a way to judge how the market is doing. Things like nail polish can also be
an indication, because one of those things, they'll always get bought. Mascara will always probably get bought, because you just be at home thinking, I just want a mascara. And that's basically why beauty will, especially with women, and our love affair with beauty, and how attached we are to beauty and how we feel it represents us, in some ways even more than fashion. That is why a lot of people will never, that's why the beauty market will never really go away, because and also there's so many different verticals to the beauty industry that you might not get in the fashion. So for instance, in the beauty, it also goes into skincare. Don't forget, skincare falls into it. And why some people have seen that cosmetics itself has fallen in Corona, because everyone's at home, skincare has actually excelled, because now people are investing more in their skincare products. And everyone's having really great skin.
Have you been doing that, Scarlett? Because I know you're a bit of a skincare addict.
I am a skincare addict. And for lockdown, I didn't wear a scrap of like, I love makeup too. Like, I'm a makeup addict as well. But I didn't wear a scrap of makeup for the whole of lockdown, and my skin was never better. And I am a bit of a skincare junkie. Like, if Space NK's got like one of those deals going where if you spend like £150, you get this many products for free. Like, I am there. I am getting them.
Do you get the advent calendars?
I do.
Oh my God, have you seen the advent calendar just went live today? I'm looking at it, because you get like 600.
I've got it, babe. I've got it.
You have to tell me if it's worth it, because I've just been looking at it and I'm like, ooh, do I need it? Do I not? But then I've been looking at the Rituals one as well, and that's prettier. But what you would find is most skincare products, I would say most, they are probably about sit around like a 10th to a 20th. Like, the margins are huge. Let's just kind of say the margins are huge, especially if you are a brand. If you are the brand who's manufactured it itself, or you own the brand, and you're not a reseller, because obviously a reseller still has the markup. So as long as you are the brand itself, you are making peace. And obviously that is probably why working in these two industries, regardless of if you work in affiliates or PR or anything, is much easier. And I'm going to go into the second point why I find this working in beauty is a lot different than working for fashion, especially if you are an influencer itself. So I'm taking myself out of the whole marketing, the brand side, and flipping it. Because with fashion, it's always about your style and your size. Really? So that means you always have more size 10s than size, maybe a different size. So, and especially if you're like, think about it this way, let me explain myself better. If you are a brand and you have 5 size 10 products to send out, you're going to have 100 people who want those 10 products. And it's going to be, and they're going to be fighting for it. And so basically you can then have a choice to pick whoever you want. You're going to do it by, when you like their clothes or they were nice to you at an event or anything like that, it becomes a bit more political. And especially if you're a blogger as well or an influencer, that is the kind of thing you're working against. They have a limited amount of supplies, and you know that maybe almost you, your friend, everyone you like are the same size.
This just gives me trauma from merchandising.
It.
This is just like, we'd have like limited edition collections or collaborations with specific celebrities, and they would come out with like a line of a few pieces, and our market would only have like 3 units of each size of this particular jacket. And then PR would turn up and be like, we got to give them to people. And we're like, but we don't have the stock even for the store. You can't take our stuff.
So we sell those. So that's basically how it's like. But on the beauty side of thing, it's no longer, it's okay, let's say this is a foundation also. You're not fighting for people who are a certain size. You're not fighting for people who are a certain shade.
Yeah.
And if you notice, like, we could all be size 10s for all different shades.
Yeah.
So then that means the pressure in itself is a lot different. So that's basically how I always tell people to approach beauty and approach fashion. The metrics is like the metrics are so different, because there are, if you look at Fenty, they have how many shades? Like 50 shades at the moment.
Yeah. If
they had 10 samples or 5, let's say 5 samples of every single shade, the people they will be reaching with that collection is different from a 50-piece fashion collection.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, because you can send someone one foundation and they are happy, but if you send someone one shirt out of a cohort, that's a problem. So and obviously, and you're still thinking about the margins as well. So that's why beauty is a lot easier to work with than fashion, in my experience. Experience is a lot easier to work with. But the industry that has the tightest margins and is actually the hardest to work with is actually the food industry.
Oh yes,
yeah. The food industry is actually the hardest, because they have next to no margins, and they are very government controlled. So let's talk about, like, not Lidl exactly, but the Lidls, the Aldis, the Asdas, and everything. They have next to no margins, which is why they obviously have to create their own brand products and sell from different metrics, like selling shelf spaces, of how they actually make their money versus the products itself.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is so interesting.
I've been in the industry so long that I'm like, I know about everything. So obviously that's just kind of give you a background of where the fighting and all the politicalness can happen between the fashion, and why it's so different working in fashion versus working in beauty. I always tell people, but the difference also is, one of the biggest thing is obviously is aesthetics as well. I'm not gonna lie, you always find a certain kind of aesthetic working in certain kind of offices. It is what it is. But in that way, beauty and fashion are very, very similar.
Yeah.
But what I do find sometimes is, with beauty, you will find less minorities working in beauty than you would in fashion.
Really?
Yeah, because I think it's because beauty tends to have much smaller teams.
Right. Okay.
And what you find is a lot of people who are in the jobs will be in the job for about 10 to 20 years. It's very normal in beauty to get a job and just advance within the company, or just grow with the company as it goes along. And I always tell people, like, just before you go into a job, check Glassdoors. Because I've used that because it is obviously, some of it is just basically like people just being a bit anti, but when working in the fashion and beauty industries, and you want to know the kind of things you're going to walk into. If you just want to know even if a brand is worth buying into, go into Glassdoors, and they're more likely to tell you this is what the company is saying, but this is actually what's happening. Because a lot of companies like to make themselves seem like they're so lovely, but you don't know that everyone working there has PTSD.
Yeah, sure.
So basically that's kind of the main differences. I feel like I've just kind of gone into the main differences for a very long time.
That
So
is
maybe around 15, 20
interesting.
minutes. But that's not even going into like, my background, but that's just my experiences working in these kind of industries. Now, affiliates is a lot easier to work with than maybe PR, because I always tell people like PR and affiliates are very, very similar. We're like twins, except the PR is like, likes to wear a lot of pink and is quite nice to people, where affiliates like wears a lot of black and tells you to F off very frequently. That's kind of like the difference. I always like to tell people like affiliates and PR, we interlink a lot, which can be very political. But the best thing about affiliates is you don't have to like people. If you don't like people, if you like PR but don't like people, go into affiliates.
Right. That's so funny.
It's true because I realized like I did a PR internship, and that's why I realized I hate people. I can't do this. And then obviously found the affiliates. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I just have to stay in front of a computer all the time. And when you do meet people, it's like on your own terms, and you're like, yes. But yeah, that's kind of the main difference between affiliates and PR, because PR is about engagement. PR is about public relations and building awareness for a brand. And affiliates is very different. It was about building conversions for a brand. So sometimes they obviously interlink, because sometimes you selling the benefits of a brand can make someone buy into the brand. But sometimes you can just sell to a brand and sell them, and they will, maybe in a year's time, they can then see a great offer and then convert.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of, we're all coming from the solution in very, very different ways. But the problem is obviously the interlinking.
So that's, I think it's a good segue into more about Epiphany A, your website.
Yes.
And I mean, because you've spoken about beauty and how you can reach a lot more people, and obviously your website really focuses on underrepresented markets, and I found it really interesting because you started it, you've really like launched it this year, and you identified that the main reason is, particularly with Black beauty, finding the products and accessing it online from your home and not going to like the beauty supply store was something that part of the industry was really lagging behind. So like, tell us a bit more about like why you wanted to start it, like the main reasons, and how, like, you've spoken about your experiences in the affiliates game. Like, how has retail been for you?
You know what it is? Let me start why I started off.
Yeah, sorry, there were so many questions.
There were so many questions. So the reason I started this website is because I really wanted a castor oil. Like, during Corona, I realized that I couldn't get any of my hair products. Like, I wanted castor oil so badly, couldn't find it. Finally found one place that sells it, and it was
Amazon.
I think it was probably Amazon, and I think they had marked it up to £10 more than I normally get it.
Amazon really lost a lot of respect during Amazon with all their markup.
You know what I think? The problem is with Amazon, it's not Amazon themselves marking it up, it's the Amazon sellers.
It's a blend of them, because they do direct sell,
It
but
shouldn't
then
be allowed though.
Capitalism, baby.
I have to basically, I'm like, you know what, you're just basically, it's business, baby, it's business. So yeah, so I think I think it was Amazon was expensive, but then I was like, oh hell no. But then I found another Black hair store, and they were charging just about the same amount as Amazon, and I was just like shocked and amazed and appalled. I was shocked, amazed and appalled at the thing, and I was just like, you know what, there is a better way. Obviously, I always had Epiphany A kind of sitting in the sidelines, because it was my old blog URL, and it was just like, it was just kind of there. I was still paying for it, and then I realized that since it's just there, and I should really just upgrade it, let me do something with it. And obviously, I built it, and it seemed to be what everyone needed at one time, and it grew so quickly in the first month. I was just basically a bit like, holy snap!
So that shows there was a real demand for it. You know, like, if it grew that quickly, like, that shows that people were almost desperate for that. They didn't know, maybe they needed it, but once it was there, like, finally.
Yeah, I think, because obviously now, we asked a lot of questions about the sites, we've done a lot of surveys, and we actually found out that my website actually like answers an age-old question for the Black beauty market, especially when it comes to hair care, because this is a very unregulated market in itself. Like there are, because most things are imported from America or bought from whoever is supplying them to the UK, that the prices can really, really range. So as a normally when someone who is looking for Afro hair care, you know, you can go through one shop and it's one price, and you can cross the road and go to another store and it's another price, and this is all in the same area. So there was never any RRP does not exist when it comes to the Black beauty market. So we've always wanted to know, like, where's the cheapest place to buy this particular product? Is it shop A, shop B, shop C? And then the same problem has just become now digital. And my website actually just answered this question, just like without even really meaning to. It just basically said, wow, I have just answered a question that I've been wanting an answer to since I was maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah. I think also that's like crazy. What it's done is not just like the brands that we know that we maybe grew up with, or the products, and, you know, but recently in the past, let's say like 5 years or 10 years, there's been like so many like smaller Black owned UK British brands popping up because they've got their own website and they might have like a few sellers that they kind of like distribute through. There's probably so many brands out there that you have no idea about, and that you would probably buy into them, but because your website's come along, it's all like one-stop shop.
That's the thing. And I think obviously working in affiliates, I am very aware of how digital brands typically make money, because what people realize is affiliates is collaborating with other websites to push your product. Yeah. That's essentially what it is. I work with like Uni Days, Student Beans, Top Cashback, Voucher Code UK, all the Honey, like Honey Pouch, these kind of websites. Oh my God,
I love Honey. Is it the one with the coupons? No. Okay.
Yes, it is the one with the coupons. It is the one with the coupons. You know, we'll discuss this another time.
Mim loves a coupon. She is like the savviest internet shopper I know.
We'll have you back on.
I have a question about that, because we basically they're a sensitive topic in the affiliate world. They are very sensitive. So we will come back to that one. But okay. But basically that's how what my job is. And then I realized that this is how all these companies are making so much money, because you have to realize there is only so much you can control to drive traffic to your own website. This is why a lot of people end up using market spaces like ASOS or ASOS Outlet or the like, because you are basically generating, you know, extra ways to generate income. Affiliates in its true essence is just another way for websites who generate income and still benefit from their own stock. They still have all the customer details and all these things that they wouldn't get if they joined an Amazon marketplace or an ASOS, because obviously they don't pass the customer details to the brand. But obviously with me, I'm just telling people this is the best place to buy it, and that's something that really, this is the best place to buy it, this is the best place to buy it, if you want this is the best place to buy it. And that's literally what I do. I empower, also in a way I empower smaller brands, because I see the same thing happening across the board for bigger and bigger brands.
That's so interesting.
So that's kind of what we do. But obviously we do get paid a commission. But obviously the best thing about commission is that it only applies to when the product is sold, the sale is sold. So it's very, very cost efficient, especially if you are a smaller brand, because you know that if this sale that you've got through me is for me selling someone, hey, this place, you can go and get it from this place specifically. Yeah. Versus, you know, paying an influencer or someone else like, you know, £200-300 to do something and they don't make the sale.
Yeah, it means that you're actually working for, you're like putting in work for these brands essentially, because it's like of direct benefit to you.
Exactly. And I'm always just, you know, because one thing that we've been doing is testing out placements, testing out newsletters, testing out things, so that basically we can service big and smaller brands in a better way, because we know that the traffic's there, we know that the audience is there, but it's then basically making a very, very clear, seamless journey for that audience. And it's because I want to get to the point that, you know, if a small brand does work with us, that they know that they're almost guaranteed to make the money that they pay into us. And that's kind of my vision, clear vision for the next few years. But that's kind of how we do it. And that's why we went for price comparison. That's why we went for the price comparison element versus just having a content website, because we do have a content side as well to generate interest, but it's kind of coming down to it saying that we know you want to buy this product, but rather than just having one place that you can buy this product, here's 10 places that you could buy this.
Yeah.
And these are 10 places that have been beated, that when you go on it, you're not going to go on it and be like, what the hell is this? Is this credible? Are they going to take my money?
Yeah. And have you
So that's
found
how
that
it
it's
is.
kind of doing this process has helped you realize what gaps there are in that market as well? Like, is it oversaturated in certain areas that you've seen, or is it like, is it pretty even? Is there gaps for people to move into, like, and show opportunity?
I think with the black hair care market, it's I'm just going to black hair care anyway. It's actually, people would go into it thinking it's a very saturated market, but it's actually not, because not enough brands do it very well. There are a lot of products on the market, yes, more probably than there should be, but a lot of brands are struggling to market themselves in a credible way, and it is also a very it's a niche market in itself, but it's also a very secluded market that works on referrals. So it's not an easy market to break into. Yeah. So, like, we always see brands like Umberto Giannini, Ozzy Miracle, all these, like, Got to Be, all these brands trying to break into the black market because they know the kind of money that's in there. But how do you break into a market where it's all about referrals?
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people there's so much opportunity there, but nobody has the data, or no one had digital know-how to point brands in the right place. And it's really funny because seeing on my website, we see all the statistics. I'm always a bit like, if brands just stuck this one product, they would make peace. Because honestly, I see it.
You could make money off like consulting.
Yeah, could probably make money.
You take your data, you take that, and that is
to, like you're saying, to like more of the bigger brands who are trying to crack it and just don't know the right way. That's valuable. But I also think there's something good and there's something really nice about it. Hopefully, being that smaller companies are actually doing the better products, and that we don't want L'Oreal Paris to come in and like sweep the market, because. It's because I think the best brands are born from need and from knowing what products people want, rather than like just seizing an opportunity.
But what we do find is obviously big brands. Yeah, but I think it's because big brands will always let the little brands do the hard work and then come in and swoop in once
they'll buy their recipe.
Brands, and obviously that kills the smaller brands. So I always tell people, I'm like, I want to help the bigger brand. I want to help the small brands. I want to basically put you in the right direction. But at the same time, I want you to have lasted at least 1 year, because the first year of any business is literally the hardest. Yeah. And it's too much work for me to onboard you and then take you off. That's a lot of like wasted time on my hands. But then I always tell people, like, it's so funny that, because you said that like a bigger brand like L'Oreal, like for instance, I just basically did a send out for Pantene Gold, which they literally created an entire range for Black people. Yeah. Not most Black people have never touched it. No, bear in mind, this is a supermarket. This is in Superdrug, and this is in Boots, and they have like a whole section and everything. People didn't touch it.
Is it obvious what it's for?
That's the problem. It wasn't obvious.
Could I mistake it and pick it up and think that it's for me?
Yeah, basically, that's what you want.
It's that thing of like, people need to know it's there, but also like, you also don't I don't know. What's your opinion? Do you think there needs to be a separate place for this in a shelving?
I don't think it needs to be a separate place. I just need to know. I just think brands should be clear with it. Marketing, but it's just package it better. Yeah. Because what they realize is that once they change the packaging and then they put not cartoons, but like cartoon elements of like, Black women, like, curly hair, illustrations. That's what illustrations. People then realize, oh snap, this is a Black hair care brand. Yeah. And they were like, I've seen it. I now want to try it, because and the responses that we've had from people, they'll be like, I didn't know it was so good.
Okay.
So that's something that we obviously, one of the benefits of having this website is like, I know what consumers want. I also know what products they're shopping, and I also know where they're shopping these products from, because the amount of data I see, I'm always like, this is so interesting. I want to try this product, because everyone seems to be searching for this product. So
how has like being on the other side of the coin in a sense, like, because now you're like a business owner as opposed to trying to push, well, you are trying to push other people's businesses, but you've got your own little operation now, whereas before you were part of someone else's.
And I guess before that you were wanting someone to maybe affiliate with you. So like
exactly,
you kind of like had this full circle moment of
I've now become like literally I've now become the thing where I've got influencers coming to me saying, do you want to send me product, do you want to work with me? And I've got brands and I get brands kind of coming to me and basically like, you know, we want to work with you. So it's basically like I've become like an influencer, a type of influencer. But everyone kind of sees my website and sees, you know, everything that's going, and they think that there's more people. I'm like, no, one person. This is one person doing everything. And
I think that the illusion of kind of me and my team, when me and my team just means me, myself, and I.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I think there's a benefit to that. I think that like small businesses play into that.
Only a good thing at times.
Yeah, exactly. And it means that like you kind of, it means like you're punching above your weight to some extent.
I am definitely punching. I am definitely
but
punching.
If people believe it,
but it's really
then like you've got something good going.
You know, because like I get like people sending not angry emails, but those kind of like, you know, emails that normally you don't make your eyebrows twitch because they probably think that you are a bigger brand and everything, and they should know it. So they kind of, when you don't respond to them, they're like, oh, okay, hi, the founder's responding to me. I'm like, yeah, the founder only ever responds to everybody, and founder don't have a choice. So it's kind of weird, but then it's a very positive thing, because this is why I tell people it's like I'm being a different type of influencer. Is I have a lot more people following me because I've interacted with them because of my website.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy that I'm now having really good conversations with random people I didn't know 4 months ago. But they literally go harder for my business than some of my friends, because my friends are kind of tired of me talking about it all the time.
And
so it's just really, really different.
What part of the coin do you prefer?
Bloody hell. I don't know, because I don't even think I'm doing any of the coins. No, you know, it's because I'm always thinking there's always so much more I can do. And I'm always like, I wish I was a twin. I think I prefer...
You can prefer it all. You can like it all the same.
I think I prefer, you know what, I always prefer the content building itself and the website building itself, and the more, you know, adding products to the website and, you know, tweaking the website part to itself, because that kind of goes into my strengths, and that goes into what I've been bred, you know, how I've, like, you know, my day job is what I do every day. So that's what I feel comfortable doing. Well, the whole pushing myself on social media, doing newsletters, all these kind of things, that is literally my weak point. And those are the times I tend to have more little breakdowns, which I've started to record on social media, because everyone seems to like when I have my little breakdowns. I recently had one because I did the newsletter heading wrong, and people just seem to love people love that mini breakdown. I'm not sure if you saw it on I had to basically like add it to my personal highlights, because people love seeing the behind.
I think people like seeing realness. And like the amount of companies I follow like this, or I get us like a monthly subscription from this one company. At least like maybe every 2-3 months, I get a whoops, our email wasn't right to you, like in their newsletter, and like whoops, and they have this thing where they go whoops, our fault, human error, and they're a small company, and like when there's no other eyes to check it, like these things will happen. Yeah.
And you learn a lot of tricks as you go along, that obviously if I told other people my tricks, they'll probably be like, oh my god, how'd you find out? I was like, literally trial and error, because like I always say, I love Canva. It saved me so much time. I would tell people, forget Photoshop, just go to Canva. You save me so much time. It is the truth. It is the truth. It saves you so much time. But then also, I always tell people, like, as long as you integrate everything, just try and integrate everything, because if everything's integrated, you only have to push one button and it feeds out to 7 different places. And I always tell people, like, that is literally the easiest thing that you could do. Please, 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 just basically integrate everything you've got. But yeah, so far the response we've had from our website is very, very good. We're seeing that driven sales, so not sales that we've made ourselves, I wish, but driven sales. We're actually seeing like a 444% increase every month.
Oh
in
my
the
God.
sales that we're driving to brands. And it's literally like, remember the first month I probably drove like £10 to stop the company. Next thing we know, you're draining like £500 and you're like, oh my God, okay, cool, this month we're going to try 600, and you beat it. You're like, okay, next month 700. And you just kind of see that kind of growth, that people are buying into what you're selling, not because I'm aggressively pushing, because I don't really believe in aggressive pushing like that, but because simply like you are providing something that they already wanted.
The service speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself, but I just feel that there's a lot of growth, and personally I've got a lot I need to tick off my to-do list before Corona hits, because I feel like everyone's will have a lot of like, will be looking for digital to fill in
Corona 2.0.
fill in the little gaps. Yes, Corona 2.0, which is probably happening, because I can't remember last time I went to like a super drug or anything, or leave my house. So I can only imagine like what other people are thinking. Like they want to make orders, but they want to basically ask questions, read reviews and stuff like that. And so I'm like, well, on my website, we've got content reviews, we've got people reviews, we've got the price comparison part. What else do you want?
Yeah. Amazing.
But it's now filling in the point, because we get people saying this product's not on there, we want more products, we want more products. I'm like, we have 1,500 products. How many do you want?
That's a lot. But like, when you consider like look unique, what does it feel unique?
Feel unique.
Fantastic.
Look fantastic.
They're probably about 10,000 products.
They have a lot, and that's kind of I think that's what people expect now in the YouTube like beauty guru world. You want to be able to watch a video on YouTube and then be able to find it in the UK. Like you want to be able to like try it. And I remember oh my God, you know when Tracy Ellis Ross came out with her hair care line?
Yeah, I literally Googled it straight away, because I was just like, that. I need to have that on my website. We can't find it.
So when does it come out in the UK?
Yeah, and I was just like, will it ever come out in the UK? Who's selling it? And literally, I have so many alerts going on. So the minute that thing comes to the UK, I'm all over it. I'm all over it, because I know I'm going to be like, I need an affiliate link for this. This is my company. This is what I can do. Like, give me my, we can sell this for you.
And I think also from that kind of culture, people are willing to just, and I think like maybe Black women nature, they're like willing to try every hair care product once. They're like, let me try it.
They are willing to try it. But this is why I have a system that we actually send products out to people to try. Okay. So every month we send products out to people. After you take a survey, we send products out based on your preferences for you to try it, and obviously leave a review to go into the website, so that obviously it helps the rest of the community decide whether or not a product is worth buying.
That's so good.
And it's always something we always tell people, people are so scared to leave negative reviews, especially when they've been sent a product. I'm always be like, please leave negative reviews. We prefer negative reviews to positive ones. Like a negative review saves me money. Yeah. But then what you find is literally like people write, like when I was starting, my mom was like, people are gonna scam you in a way. Not that they're gonna scam you and take the product and run, but they are going to only write 2 or 3 words for this product. But what we've actually found is people write essays. I'm talking about 100 words. 200 words. One person wrote a 700-word like review on the product.
It must have changed her life.
I basically was like, "Hi, can I write this as a post, because this is so much information. Like, you're just basically, this is too much information." And this is the kind of thing we see. We see people write a lot of information.
That is so good.
Towards post. So if you go on my website and maybe you're going to see a product, you're going to see a lot of information about the product, like how they've used it, why they've used it, when they've used it. They've used this and they use this and then they use this. They've tried it this way, they tried it that way. That's the kind of stuff that you tend to start seeing on the website. And actually launching that review panel proposition is actually one of the best things I did, because we actually had a lot of people now look at the reviews. They look on the avatars, see different Black faces, like, from, someone who's very mixed race with very loose hair, someone who's like 4C hair. They see all the different colors. So they actually believe the products, versus, when you just have your name. And it's like, we have a picture. We don't share the names because obviously GDPR, but we do share the picture, the title, the stars, and the review itself. So people know exactly, if you see a positive review from only a certain skin hair texture, and bad reviews from a separate hair texture, then you kind of know where you're sitting with the products.
That's really clever. And reviews are so powerful.
Honestly, we're sitting on 500 reviews. It's only been 3 months.
That's cool.
I have not sent 500. I have not sent 500 products out. Let me just tell you right now, I have not sent 500 products out. But we found out people, like, when they start seeing products that they like and that they've tried out, they are literally like chatty Betties, just like, don't, like, avoid it, and they're so petty. I love it.
So what's like, what would you say is the next phase for your website? Or like, what's the thing that you want to move on to next, or see for your,
well,
for Epiphany?
I think for us, it's basically collaborations. What I would love to do, obviously, we're trying to work and collaborate with brands, so that we are obviously, we're doing the reviews for them, we're product testing for them in the UK community versus the US, because people always think that if it applies to the US, it can be applied to the UK. But that doesn't really
so
work.
Annoying, I know.
She's like, yes, and I'm just like, it doesn't work for that. But then, unfortunately, there are no product testing or product sampling solutions for this market, for the BAME market in the UK. So that's kind of where I want to kind of take it.
And I think that so applies to Black women across Europe. I mean, like, in the UK, there's obviously like a substantial like Black community. I have friends who live in other countries, and I couldn't imagine living there trying to it's like, what?
You know what is funny? It's basically those same problems your friends having if you go to, like, further up north, like up north. Those in the villages and the one where where you're the only, how that was this little British scare, like only gay in the
only gay in the village.
Yeah. Now imagine being the only Black in the village.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of issues that people are still having. But now imagine that you can go online and easily find what you want.
Yeah, and they ship
we ship
to so and so country, like, and it's not even like, you don't even have to be like in the middle of nowhere. Like, you could be in Spain, you could be or like France. You would think that France has everything, and it's like, it's not that easy if you're, just like from a particular community in Paris, whatever.
Exactly, and you don't have anyone who looks like you. So we actually, it's really funny that some of the people who go the hardest for this website are those people who live in the middle of very, very rural locations. Because sometimes I see the address, I'm like, what do you mean cottage? What do you mean farm? Who lives in a farm? Like, what do you mean a farm? And usually those are the people who tend to go the hardest for the brand, because they're just basically like, yes, you're helping me out, like, I want to help you. And I'm like, farm, I can't get past the farm part. I'm like, you live on a farm? So, but that's basically what's kind of, every time when I'm having like a bad day and I feel like, maybe I should scrap this website, I don't feel like doing it anymore, I just get like a really positive message or positive email, and it just makes me think like, I'm going to keep this on for like another 2 weeks. until I drop again.
We loved talking to you. It was such a fun interview, and we learned so much. Anything else you want to add, Scarlett?
No, just I think that what you've done is really cool, and I think it speaks volumes that how much it's taken off in such a short time. And hey, we don't want lockdown 2.0 to happen, but let's hope it does good things for your website.
Honestly, I think it's the next 6 months. It's going to be a make or break, but I feel like I'm just excited to see where it goes along. I'm finally in a place that the foundation is set in a way. Mm-hmm. So it's only waking up.
The best things come out of people seeing a need that they don't think someone's done before, and that's where the best ideas come from. The most authentic ideas. And
thanks for joining us. And I feel like we could talk to you about other stuff.
No, I hope I did your first guest spot justice.
For sure.
No, it was excellent. It was really good. Okay, well, thanks for listening to our 15th episode. It was our first ever guest on Style Over Substance. I mean, we found it amazing. Annie is such a force to be reckoned with.
Totally
so interesting. Yeah, I don't know who we're going to have on next. But yeah, be sure to follow her on all the links we're going to provide in the show notes. Yeah, my God. That was a really cool conversation.
That was really cool.
Thanks again for listening to us. 5-star reviews as always. not
5
about the
stars for
4.
Annie.
5 stars for Annie. Yeah, I've been Mim.
And I've been Scarlett.
Have a nice day, guys. Bye.